tell me about the new book which is coming out, the next one.
Well,
You don't want on creative mischief, and you don't want on predatory thinking.
yeah.
So where next? Is it like a next step, or is it somewhere different?
Well, I think they're all kind of about the same area. They're all kind of about, which is, it's only one word, but it's incredibly broad. It's creativity. So they're all about surprisingly where that thinking comes from, where how to be creative. Now, the next book, 1+1=3, what that largely came from was something Steve Jobs said, and something I'd read some Indian mathematician said. And Steve Jobs had said creative people feel guilty when someone says they're brilliant, because the creative people know all they did was they took something they'd seen somewhere else and repurposed it. You take two things. Steve Jobs, in his bedroom, he only had, apart from the bed, he only had two photographs. On one wall he had a photograph of Einstein, and on the other wall he had a photograph of Buddha. And you put Einstein and Buddha together, and you see that's what makes Steve Jobs and what he does different to everybody else. The minimalism, the clarity of Buddha with the technical leaps of Einstein. If you take Einstein and try and build on that, you just have 1+1=2. But if you bring Buddha into that, a whole external philosophy, you bring no one else is bringing to that. You've got a leap, so you've got 1+1=3. And this Indian woman, this Indian mathematician, had said where we always go wrong is we always looking to grow our brain, of course, and use more of our brain. And we think how we do that is we study whatever we're interested in. But by studying what we're interested in, we just learn a little bit more about the same sort of stuff. So our connections in that part of our brain are very few and very small. If you learn to study things that you would never learn to study, your connections are with a totally different part of your brain, and every one of the new things you learn has to connect with every one of the old things you knew. So you grow geometrically instead of arithmetically, and which is what Steve Jobs was saying, is the more growth you have, the more unusual the things you put into your mind, the more diverse things you put into your mind. So that's where, instead of just 1+1=2, it becomes 1+1=3, which is also Eisenstein said the same thing filmically about Battleship Potemkin and the montages in Battleship Potemkin. Instead of, which is where New Wave cinema came from, instead of having narrative cinema like D.W. Griffith, the Cossacks start to walk down the bridge, start to walk down the steps, cut to the Cossacks lift up their guns, cut to the Cossacks aim their guns, cut to the Cossacks pull the trigger, cut to someone dying. That would be the narrative way. You don't do that in Einstein's way. You do cut to the Cossacks' boots, cut to a pram going down the steps, cut to the Cossacks firing, cut to the scream of a granny with her glasses shattered, cut to the Cossacks firing again, cut to the pram smashed on the bottom of the steps, cut to the Cossacks' boots, and it's the whole mood of the different things. Your mind is having to deduce how to put the two different things together to create a third thing, which is bigger than the sum total of just those things that you saw. So sorry, it's a long answer.
It's a very good answer.